Good morning, everyone. First of all, it is Saturday, September 7th. We in the middle of Virgo season. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Liberation Line. It's Black women and girls who are walking and talking all over the world together on this beautiful day. I'm walking in not my usual neighborhood, and I'm going up a hill in my thighs, y'all. I'm walking in Silver Springs, Maryland. I'm actually out on a kind of urban hike with a crew of women called Team Tapped, led by a Black woman named Habibah Jackson. It's just 7 women out here letting the crisp air hit our skin. It feels so good. It felt so good to see these women come out, no performance, no practice, just like get into a circle and start walking this morning. And it feels good to welcome everybody to the call with that. I want to ground us in this week's Black History Facts of the Week because we are both learning from our past and we are building a movement for the future. And Morgan, first of all, Ida B. Wells' birthday is this week, so shout out to Ida B. Wells. And then we just left a week where the Little Rock 9 and everything that happened with the Little Rock 9 went down. I said everything that happened as if I knew all the details, but the Little Rock 9, y'all, they need to sit in. And I felt like it was apropos even to mention it because it's about taking up space. And where are the places that we take up space? In the outdoors in particular, and the environment is a place where Black folks need to take up space, especially in a country and in a world where there are so many places that don't welcome us. That was a long answer, but that's where I'm walking. How are you?
Girl, you getting up that hill. You getting up that hill.
Here's what you need to know. The women requested the hill. This is what you need to know. These women on this team, I don't walk with this team usually, but they got out there and they was like, we doing the hills today. And I was like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I remember being in Little Rock, Arkansas, and seeing the school that they integrated. And it's similar to when we were at Fannie Lou Hamer's gravesite and we saw that little school.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, where it was kind of unremarkable in its historic importance. Do you understand what I mean? Like you could drive by it and not know almost. And it was situated in a community that still is suffering from the same kind of systemic oppression that led to schools being segregated and these children having to be frontline freedom fighters. And I just remember thinking one day we're going to come back and have a concert on the steps of that school, and we're going to bring the Roots crew or whoever it is we liked at the time. Like I was just like, I just remember thinking that Keith and I were in Little Rock, and so God is so good because we are now in a position to have those kinds of like wellness revivals and teach-ins and sit-ins, and we've been doing that all over the country in historic places, and I could totally see us going to Little Rock, Vanessa. So thank you for mentioning those Black history facts. We're going to start with the movement meditation, and today, as I said, we're going to be talking about the earth and Mother Earth, and just to get grounded, wherever you are in the world, and particularly to my sisters in America, where it is morning, I want you to identify where the sun is. And wherever the sun is coming from, that is east. And as we begin this movement meditation, if you can begin to walk and orient your walk toward the east, it would be great. If you can't, just know where the east is. Just know where east is. Wherever the sun is rising, it rises in the east and it sets in the west. So you always can locate where you are. So we're going to begin a walking meditation because thousands of women are walking in solidarity right now for environmental justice. And we're going to incorporate some cardinal signs this morning. And some reverence to the earth that we walk on. As you begin to walk, sometimes we imagine roots that are growing from our feet, but we are walking today. So I want you to see if you can feel the pulse of the earth. The earth has a pulse. It is radiating. It is spinning. It is hot, hot core that is pulsing, just like our hearts are pulsing. The core of the earth has a pulse to it. It has a vibration to it. So as your feet kiss the earth, almost let your feet bounce off the earth with the pulse of the aliveness of the earth. Take a deep breath in as you walk and are pulsated by the earth. Exhale. Find peace wherever you are, in the outdoors, even if you are in the indoors, if you are outside. See if there's a block you can walk down that may be more undisturbed. Take a few deep breaths and center your mind and your heart. We are facing east, the direction of new beginnings, the element of air, energy, newness, vision, and inspiration. All of our indigenous wisdom, from Africa to the Lakota Nation. The east is where the sun rises, symbolizes the dawn of a new day and new possibilities. This is a time to set your intentions and open yourself up. Wow, the air is flipping. Can you hear it? We hear you, Mother Earth. Whoa, I don't know if you can hear it. I got noise canceling, but it's so loud. Oh, this is a time to set intentions and open yourself to inspiration. As we are walking east, take in deep breaths and feel the air on your skin. Is it cool? Is it warm? Is it gentle? Is it forceful? Imagine the rising sun filling you with light, clarity, purpose. Allow yourself to feel the energy of new beginnings and say to yourself, I welcome new beginnings with an open heart. I embrace the vision and inspiration that guides me toward my highest potential. Toni Morrison taught us that we are our own best thing. You, my sister, are your own best thing. As you're walking east, feel to your right, that is the south. The south is the element of fire, of heat, of passion, of growth, of abundance. In all indigenous wisdom of our foremothers, the south represents all of the peak of life's growth cycle. It is where we find our fire and pursue our passions. While we're still walking east, I want you to turn your awareness to the south, to the energy on your right side where the south is. Feel the warmth of the sun and high noon. And it is gently heating up your right side, energizing your body and spirit, and imagining the growth, the possibilities, and say to yourself, I am fueled by the passion of by the fire of my passions, and I grow with each step I take. I am embracing abundance and joy and that high life, y'all. Now I want you to feel the energy from the west. It is behind you. It is water. It is intuition. It is reflection. It is release. The west symbolizes the end of the day where the sun sets. It is a time for reflection. It teaches us about the importance of flowing with life and letting go of what no longer serves you. As we walk east, our awareness is behind us, where we feel the west giving us a gentle reminder, a calming energy at your back. You are okay. Imagining the sun setting behind you as it does every day. Some things you have to let go. The flow of water is washing away any burdens, any unnecessary thoughts or things in your life. Say to yourself, I release what no longer serves me. I trust in the flow of life, and I honor my intuition, allowing myself to let go with grace. And lastly, on our left side, we feel the energy from the north. That is earth, wisdom, stability, and grounding. All of our ancient, ancestral, and indigenous wisdom teaches us that the north represents the wisdom of the elders and the stability of the earth. It can hold you. It can hold you. Whatever you are going through now, this walk can hold you. This sisterhood can hold you. Our ancestors can hold you. The fire, the water, the air, and the earth can hold you. This is a place of grounding and drawing strength from our ancestors. As you are walking, turn your awareness to the energy on your left, where the north is, and feel the solidity of the earth below you. There are roots, sister, that connect us all, that are growing. There are roots connecting us all to deep wisdom, to the land, to your ancestors. Say to yourself, I am grounded, I am stable, I am connected to the wisdom of the earth and my ancestors, and I walk with pride and strength and steadfastness. Staying focused as you breathe and we conclude. Reflect on all of the energies that you have felt and the insights that you've gained. And we take a few deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. We thank our Mother Earth. We are aware of all of the directions that guide us each and every day. Our last affirmation is, I am deeply grateful for the wisdom of the earth and the energy that surrounds me, and I carry this gratitude in my heart as I move forward today. Are you there, V?
I am. Thank you for that, Morgan. I was just letting a little space onto the call because I know so many women appreciated that grounding. I'm especially even thinking of all of the women who came to this call still carrying so much from last week's call. We heard from so many of you around what these calls are doing to unlock healing inside of your body. And so just take a minute. I'm standing in a big field of grass, and I just want to take a minute for women just to hold space for the grounding that Morgan just brought into this conversation, and to really root in what we are in solidarity for and to uplift it right now. This week we stand in solidarity with every single Black person who is in the fight, and there are so many for environmental justice, and this is an opportunity for us to orient around some facts to help us to make decisions around who it is that we are electing as our officials as we think about how do we show up to protect the sacred space. I want to uplift Wangari Maathai, the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize through her Green Belt movement. She empowered women to plant millions of trees, and she really showed us what that environmental justice is social justice. I want to uplift some folks who Morgan and I know well. Leah Penniman, the co-founder of Soulfire Farm, whose work for food sovereignty and land justice. Mustafa Santiago Ali, my brother who fights for climate policy reform. Rue Mapp, the founder of Outdoor Afro, who reconnects Black communities to nature. Tamara O'Laughlin, a climate strategist and advocate for equity and climate action. Ivy Gordon, who works with the Cultural Rebirth Connections movement. There are so many Black people out there who
Majora Carter.
Yes, thank you, Majora Carter, our girl Majora Carter. Oh yes, one of the pioneers. You're so right. I love listening.
Yes, she did the greening the ghetto movement in the Bronx. Yeah,
that's right. First of all, my auntie's trying to call in on the other line. Y'all should have made me some oxtails, some peach cobbler for my birthday. She keep calling me about her aunties. I try to tell her I got a liberation line call, but she don't care. She don't care about the medication. She don't care about this environment. As we're calling out those the names of the
happy
the
almost
warriors.
birthday, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
almost
you.
birthday.
Yes, talk
Yeah.
about being grateful to be on this earth, like, and the sacredness of like another rotation, and what that means to have seen the sun come up and the sun go down every single day. I feel so, so grateful. I feel so, so grateful. Morgan, I want to, first of all, I want to invite women right now to hit *9 if you're going to want to join this conversation. And this is if the meditation that Morgan just centered us in unlocked something in you. This is if you had a transformation, had a breakthrough, had a testimony this week. If you have, if you broke through the status quo this week, we're going to open up the lines in a minute. And I especially want to hear from Black people who have been experiencing, the Black women on this call who know and understand and have a personal testimony around what the outdoors is doing. And I just want to uplift a couple of facts, Morgan. First of all, literally, that was my auntie again. First of all, 56 Black people are exposed to 56% more pollution than they produce. I want y'all to understand that. 56% more pollution than we produce. While Americans are exposed to 17% less pollution than they produce. Black children are nearly twice as likely to suffer from asthma compared to white children, largely due to higher exposure to air pollution. Black communities are 58%.
Well, I read this morning.
Yeah.
I was reading this morning in relation to that fact. Say the second one again.
About asthma. Black children are children are nearly twice as likely to suffer from asthma compared to white children, largely due to higher exposure to air pollution.
Can I just say something about that? I had asthma so bad growing up in Wichita, Kansas, and my sister did too. We were both hospitalized frequently for asthma. And then I moved and I didn't have asthma no more. And I was just like, what is that? And my friend Brandon had died of an asthma attack by his bathtub when we were kids. It was so traumatizing. And so many of our children have asthma. And I was reading about it in preparation to today because I know it is environmental injustice. And our people are, I think it's 75%, or maybe your next statistic is this, more likely to live by industrial pollution. And I have a friend actually who was working for the New York City Port Authority, and she was personally fighting. They were trying to get an expansion of the bus terminal there in Harlem of idling buses, and they know the particulate matter causes cancer, causes asthma, causes lung disease and heart disease. That particulate matter in and of itself, every 1 point of particulate matter reduces your life expectancy by 6 months. And I'm saying, and it's way higher in our communities. So even if we just reduce the particulate matter, we could reduce asthma, heart attack, all of these other diseases. So I've just been thinking about it, trying to learn about it, Vanessa, because it's like the air we actually breathe.
That's right. It's the air we actually breathe. And it's the air we breathe. And even my next statistic says that 58% of Black people live in areas impacted by extreme heat, and 30% of Black people live in areas near coal plants, which is impacting the air that we breathe in the exact way that you're talking about. And y'all, when it's hot as hell outside and you can't even afford no air conditioning, for the record, it'd be impacting you like on a deep spiritual level. And you can't breathe. Like, we can't not underestimate what we are up against.
But that heat index V is called the island effect, and partly it's partly due to the lack of trees and green space in our neighborhoods, right? So if you clear out all the trees and green space to put apartment buildings and affordable housing or whatever it is that whatever project they have for us, that particular generation, then it's hard to breathe. I mean, surprise, surprise, it's then hard to breathe, and then it gets hotter in those communities, like degrees hotter on every single day in those communities. Ugh.
That's right. And 52% of Black people are less likely to have access to a park or green space at all. Don't even live within a community that has a park or green space. That's 52%. of Black people. I want to, though, Morgan.
When I was doing the research last year, about life expectancy, it was the one most startling statistic that I found out of all of those statistics. We talked about how prison and jail reduces your life expectancy. We definitely know food. We definitely know stress. We know poverty. We know like the basic ones, but the one that like shocked me the most is that if you live in a walkable community, and the walkable communities are defined by the things like green space, right? Like how pleasant is it to walk in your neighborhood? Are there trees? Are there parks? Are there things to walk to? Are there safe streets? All of that like combined is called walkability, right? If you live in a walkable neighborhood, you're projected to live 10 years longer. And I was like, that's it. That's it right there. If our neighborhoods were just supportive to our walking, our mission would be accomplished right there. So I hear what you're saying, and I'm just like, that is a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame. It is sad. Yeah.
It's sad because I want to uplift some facts on the other side that tell us why it's so important that we start to advocate, start to understand. Because if we think about the benefits, just spending 20 minutes in nature lowers your cortisol levels significantly and reduces stress. You have a 20% lower risk of anxiety and a 40% lower risk of depression if you spend at least one more extra day out in green space. If we talk about the lower risk of heart disease, Morgan, 50% when you are actually walking outside in nature, by the way. And there's a major difference they talk about in walking outside in nature. And I know many of us have to get it inside for lots of reasons, but the ability to walk outside in nature and what that does for your body is so significant. 50% of people who perform better and their jobs, by the way, we already know this, when you can access some outdoor space and some outdoor green space, and you can connect with nature and you can be outside. And then families who connect on the outdoors report having better conversations, they report having better connection, and they report having better conflict resolution when they spend more time outdoors. So when we think about the flip side, when we think about the flip side of the statistics of what we are up against, and then we know in particular, having the blessing of the work we've been doing in GirlTREK. And when I first started with GirlTREK, y'all, I know maybe you've seen my photos, I've hiked Kilimanjaro, I've done all sorts of stuff, but I really started just walking. I hadn't even been outside. I wasn't one of those people who went to the park. And so it's something where we can start anywhere. You can start anywhere. You can start in your park, your local park. You can start in a neighborhood. But the ability to find and access green space and feel comfortable with it. And I'm specifically thinking about my cousin right now. I just want to uplift her, Rhonda. She hates even sitting outside in the grass. And she's like, ooh, girl, the bugs, ooh, girl, this, ooh, girl, that. And when I had tried to encourage her and explain to her even our own connection to nature, she's had a hard time. And so I just want to push women to push past their own discomfort and the own kind of fears that we sometimes have. And we're getting ready to open up the lines, Megan, but I want to start by opening up the line with Habibah, who I just said I was on a walk with, because Habibah has been such a passionate advocate for Black women connecting in the outdoors and such a powerful organizer. And I want to bring her voice in on this. She is an expert around Black people and the environment. But here's the trick, y'all. This is old school. I'm about to three-way her. I'm about to three-way her in on this call. We're going to three-way Habibah in just so I could get her perspective on this. And then we're going to open up the lines for everybody to join. So just hold on one second. Okay, let's see how this works. Don't laugh. Oh, Tyree said she got her on the line. How did that happen? Tyree, you got her on the line?
Because you need a three-way number.
I was trying to three-way. You know, I can't even see. I'm like, how do I add? I don't even have the contact pulled up. Habibah, are you on the line?
Yes, I am on the line. I'm glad I called in because I knew that they can add people once you're on a call. So after we finish our three, bridge, I joined the call. So I'm
okay, Habibah.
Hey, Morgan, how are you?
Girl, I'm blessed. I feel good. How you doing?
Okay. I'm good. I'm a little out of breath because I just walked up a hill to my house, but it's okay.
Oh,
It's
y'all
okay
doing
to
big
be out of
things.
breath. No,
Yeah.
hills are important. Hills are important. So
So is breath.
I'm good.
So is breath.
Well,
I'm
when you
glad
walk
your
up
heart
the
is
hill, it
working
forces
good.
you to
Yeah.
breathe more, so you get more oxygen
That's
in.
right.
So
That's right.
that's all good.
That's right. That's
It's all
right.
good.
It is all good. It is all
Habibah,
good.
it was
So,
totally synchronicity that we invited you, that I was out walking with you today, out here on this. It's a walk, it's a hike. Every time I go out with you, you are somebody who is helping Black women to connect with spaces that they usually don't connect with. And you have personally such a powerful and transformational story around the outdoors and how GirlTREK has led you to that access. And I'm just wondering, from your own perspective, if you could speak to the power of, one, how did you get started in the outdoors? What has been your experience in taking women out? And what would you say to the Black women who are on this call right now, who are hearing us talk about environmental justice, who are hearing us talking about the outdoors, and who are trying to connect the dots to them and the most urgent things that are happening in their lives?
Okay, well, that was a lot, so I'll try to be very short. I can be long with it sometimes, but I started with GirlTREK in 2013 when Morgan and Vanessa called to action Black women to come down to the mall in DC to walk for 120 minutes to save our own lives. I was immediately just drawn to the mission. I had just started my health journey after having 2 children and pouring into them for about 5 years, and I was ready to get back to taking care of myself. And so I felt like I could commit to walking 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week at a minimum. And I just fell in love with the movement from that point. A lot of people who have known me, they know that my mom says that I drink the GirlTREK Kool-Aid, and that is true. I talk about GirlTREK and just try to model sisterhood with everything that I do. I love the outdoors. I was afraid of the outdoors until GirlTREK, and actually one of my friends who I met through GirlTREK took me out hiking in 2013, and I fell in love with hiking and have been able to explore hiking more because of training I received through GirlTREK with all of the hiking events with GirlTREK. And so, speaking about just the connection, during the pandemic, I started doing a lot of solo hiking and actually began to feel like a deep connection to nature and being in the outdoors, and felt the healing natures of it. And so now I'm just really focused on trying to address the fears that a lot of us Black women have with walking out in nature and really embracing the healing powers and pulling in all of the energy from the trees and the dirt and the soil and the fresh air, and not being afraid, and really just taking that power back for ourselves, and knowing that the outdoors have actually protected us throughout history, and feeling and reconnecting with the ancestors has been really important for me and with my journey as well. So I am blessed to live in an area that is very urban, a lot of construction happening, but I also have a trail right behind where I live, so I can go out and be in nature among the trees pretty much every day. And I know that that's a blessing. I am so much happier mentally when I go out and walk, especially, if I can hit the dirt and hike as well. And so it's just so important for us as Black women to understand the healing powers of the outdoors and removing ourselves from all of the distractions that we sometimes have in the house, whether it's cleaning the house, watching TV, getting on our gadgets, the TV, the computer, the phone, and just being out and breathing in the fresh air, looking at the trees, listening to the birds, watching other people in your neighborhood. And then the more and more we go out, the more and more we can inspire other Black women to go out. And it's always so nice to see people who look like us out on the trails, enjoying nature.
Habibah, what's your one piece of advice to the Black women who are out there right now who feel like, the barrier to entry in terms of finding a park, finding access to figure out even what a trailhead is, to understand, who feel like, no, I really have to stick to my neighborhood? What do you say to those folks?
I would say to definitely look into the community. There are so many organizations, including GirlTREK, that take Black people out into outdoor space on hikes. And then also, if you are on social media and you see people who are hiking, you can search like hashtag hiking, and you will find people who are out who can inspire you. I have inspired so many people to go out hiking that I have never met in person. And then when I have met them in person, from posting on social media, we just have conversations, and it can start with something small. It doesn't have to be a 10-mile hike. It can be a 1-mile hike, a 15-minute hike, just to be out in nature and find someone that who is already out there doing it, and ask them if you can join them. Most people who hike, they do enjoy hiking alone, but most of us do like to have other people come along with us. And there are so many women in GirlTREK, especially, who are hikers and who hike their adventures on social media, who also share in their community. And I would encourage everyone to just reach out to any of us if you are interested in hiking and getting out a little bit outside of your neighborhood. At the same time, I always tell people walking in my neighborhood is my foundation. It's so great to be able to literally do, as Morgan reminds us, on a regular basis, to put on your sneakers and walk out your front door and walk. You see so much going on in your community. You can meet your neighbors. You can identify things that need to be addressed in the neighborhood, from cracked sidewalks to trash to congested intersections that don't have stoplights, or and so many other things. So we can't take away from the neighborhood walks, but the healing power of the trees and the dirt is something that we as Black women all need in order to continue.
Thank you, Habibah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that
problem.
word. Thank you for that testimony. Morgan, you got any question for Habibah before we open up the lines?
No, I don't. Thank you so much, Habibah. I do want to, Habibah, you could stay on the line, girl, for the whole call if you want to. You got stuff to say. I want to move the conversation to the election coming up, and the kinds of issues we should really be listening for, because we've talked a lot about the air. We've talked a little bit about the earth. I want to talk a little bit about the water, and particularly lift up Flint, Michigan, and all of our communities where toxic runoff from industrial plants and industrial farms is actually taking a chokehold onto our water supply. So I really want people to pay attention to water issues, to ground pollutants and issues in our ground soil, and to air and carcinogenics in the air. These are some of the issues that are facing our community. And then kind of the element of fire, when we think about the heat index, and we think about climate change and how hot it is getting, and how climate change and sea level rise will affect Black communities more, particularly coastal communities around Florida, around the Mississippi Delta, around the Carolinas, and people who live far out on the coast, on the East Coast too, Delaware, Philadelphia, New York, all of these places. And then we think about our Caribbean sisters and brothers, and then all of our sisters and brothers on the continent of Africa. These are places that are seafaring, that are traditional fishing villages, and we just want to be very mindful that that poverty then becomes a play here, because while people can move up to the mountains, get a retreat, climate change is actually running over cities right now. In low coastal areas, sea level rise is running over cities right now. And so as we begin to think about who are the leaders of this country at this historic moment, we have to insist that we understand the rights that corporations have to put their toxic facilities and landfills in our communities. I found the statistic, we're 73% more likely to live by a landfill. And I'm just like, we have to understand that this impacts our heart health, which is the most deadly thing killing Black women. It impacts infant mortality. It impacts all of our predictors of a long and healthy life. And so this is a political issue. And I want to encourage you, Vanessa brought in the name of Wangari Maathai earlier today. I want to encourage you that 1 million Black women walking is enough power to bring awareness to these issues. I had a friend named Q, who is a filmmaker for the beautiful couple from the company Patagonia, the Tompkins, and it was 2 of them, and they have saved all of this forest and protected all of this public land with 2 people, right? And I tell you that to say Q has been making a film about them, and we actually just saw a part of that film when Vanessa and I were at TED. I tell you this story to tell you this. Q asked me about 3-4 years ago. He was like, Morgan, we'll just come down to DC to the climate march and we could see each other then. He's my friend. And I was like, Q, don't no Black people go to the climate march? And he was like, don't say that, Morgan. I was like, oh, no Black people go to the climate march. And I was like, I ain't trying to be the only Black person out at the climate march. And we were kind of laughing. And then when he got to the climate march, he was filming, of course, he sent me footage and he goes, Morgan, I didn't want to believe you when you said that. There ain't a Black person in sight.
That's
so
right.
What I am asking all 1 million of us to do is to get off the sidelines and to get in the fight. Learn about climate justice, watch films, watch movies. It is not some kind of backpacker niche issue. It is core to how hot it is in our mother's projects, right? It is core to your cousin's asthma. It is core to the lead that is causing us to lose our minds in our own homes. It is core to the water supply that we are drinking that is giving us all kinds of like trauma and reflux of mental health disease and spiritual disease. I'm telling you that the earth we live on deserves protecting. It deserves protecting. And so as we walk into these last few weeks of the election, listen to what people are saying about the environment. Listen to it and fall in love with the environment. As Habibah was saying, go outside in your neighborhood and look at the bush right on the corner, right? Look at the tree that's always been there since you were standing there for preschool. Is it healthy? Is it happy right there? Is it dusty from car pollution? Like, let's start to pay attention and protect the environment right in our front yards. Right in our front yards. In another couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about food justice, and starting in our front yards is going to be the solution that we come to. The last thing I'll say is Wangari Maathai was the first PhD to study many of these issues on the whole continent of Africa. But what I know and love her for was her ability to mobilize Black women on the continent of Africa to plant trees. They planted 50 million trees in Kenya. Kenya was about to literally fall off every indicator of environmental safety, of desertification, of erosion, of all these. And these women planted 50 million trees in something called the Green Belt Movement. Look it up. And when Wangari Maathai got a Nobel Peace Prize from Barack Obama for her work. So if she can do that in Kenya, what can we do in America? If you have ideas, if you insist as a movement that we get involved in something, if there's a solidarity march or movement we need to be at, the lines are open, *9. Let's talk about it.
Thank you for that, Morgan. Tyreen, if we have somebody's hand raised, we can bring them in now. And if we don't, I actually want to bring in Wangari's voice on that short clip before we bring women in. And if not, we can end with Wangari's voice, because what Morgan said is so powerful. And I think the clip where she talks about the hummingbird really brings it to light. Oh, good. We have a caller on. That's what's up. Are they callers or walkers, Morgan?
Hey, good morning.
I don't know. Good morning.
Good morning, sis. How are you?
I'm great. This is Natalie calling from St. Louis. And
Hi, Natalie.
I would like to, first, I'd like to start off and say thank you, Morgan, for that beautiful affirmation meditation sermon. And then I also I got interested in environmental justice probably 35 years ago. I stumbled across a Jonathan Kozol book in the library, and it was talking about East St. Louis and the plants and the industrial plants and the waste and the things that were being found on the playgrounds of schools where children were playing every day. So yes, environmental justice is one of the major things affecting our community, and I do agree and hope that everyone pays attention to the election and what our candidates are saying from the local level to the top.
Yeah,
and thank you guys for
Wow, I
everything
love
that
that.
you do.
Thank you for
guys
representing. Are you
everything that
say
you
East
do
St. Louis
every
or
week.
St. Louis?
I'm from St.
You're
Louis,
welcome,
but
sister.
I mean, St. Louis, East St. Louis is right across, right across the river.
Cynthia
Yes.
Thompson just texted me
So
that she's walking
representing
right
the
now
Midwest.
in East St. Louis. So I just got to uplift East St. Louis. Thank
Yay.
you for bringing them into this call. Yes.
Yes, that's our VP of organizing. Yeah, it's so fascinating. I also just watched a film. I'm trying to think of who was in that film on Netflix about something very similar. Like, this plant comes in, everybody's getting sick. Nobody knows why they're getting sick. And I just encourage you to pay attention, go to your city council meetings, listen to what people are saying, and get involved in these fights. I'm going to, on the Friday email, there's a really beautiful example of this in Los Angeles of these young Latina girls who, it was just a few of them who noticed something very similar to what was happening with this school, that everybody was getting sick, cancer rates were elevated, the kids had respiratory issues, upper respiratory issues, and they traced it back to an industrial plant that was right in their community, and it shows how they fought to get that changed. And it's a very short film, and I will share it out. And then shout out to our own Pam Jenner, who is GirlTREK national staff, who did this very thing in her community in Denver, where there was a toxic runoff and pollutants. And all of a sudden she had everybody on the line. Listen, ask for forgiveness, don't ask for permission. She was like, no. There is a sludge, a waste, toxic dump in my community. She had the city engineer, the mayor was calling me. I was just like, what's happening in Denver? I was like, but we trust Pam, we stand with Pam. And I'm telling you, we stand with each and every one of you. So Black women out there right now, walkers, callers, activists, freedom fighters, figure out what is in your groundwater, figure out what's in the soil, figure out what's in the air, figure out what's in your homes, what's running through your pipes, and where it's coming from. Because we want to live and we don't want to die. And GirlTREK supports you because you are a member, and we are walking forward together in solidarity. So stay tuned for that film for a little bit of inspiration and some things that you can do to get involved. Is there one more caller on before we finish up, and then we will finish up with Wangari? Would love to hear from you, sisters. *9. If anything has resonated at all from the last couple of weeks or anything, I think we have a caller on.
Yeah. I want to even uplift our adventure squad just really quickly before we bring the caller on, and all of the women who over the years.
We have 23 callers on.
yeah, we got a lot, right? Women got things to say. I was like,
let's take some callers. Let's take 3 callers, but let's make it real quick.
Okay.
Y'all gotta make it quick. We'll make it quick.
The church altars is
Here we go.
open. All right. Okay. Good morning,
One's on right
sister.
now. Here we go. How you doing, sister?
Good morning. My name is Veronica, and I'm in Houston, Texas. So this was my first.
Veronica.
I saw the information. Hi. This is my first call, and thank you for the wonderful information this morning. When you said the earth
I'm serious. First callers. Woohoo!
I have been studying more about the earth and the vibrations, and it's like when you were speaking upon the earth having a pulse, it just resonated with me in my heart. So thank you for that. So I went to the park this morning because I saw some information on the park here in Houston. It's called Memorial Park. But no one was there. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. But I said, I'm out here. I was able to see the sunrise. I got my walk in. It was wonderful. But I think maybe the next time we'll make a connection. So, but this is my
Sister, can I say you were there?
I'm sorry?
You were there. I want to say
Yes,
that you were there. And
yes,
that
I
really
was
does
there.
matter. That really does matter, because we don't know what came between any other sister and getting there. And the fact that you were there connecting with the earth, holding space for our movement matters. As a new caller, it matters. Wherever you go, that matters. You were the Harriet. And then you come back and get other people. So I'm so proud that you got out of bed. I'm so proud that you pushed past your fear. And I'm so proud that you connected with the earth in a local park near you. And I'm saying there will be 2 sisters next time. Or Fannie Lou Hamer say 1 + 1 = 10 and 10 = 1,000,000. It's just like that's what
Exactly.
it starts with you being there. So thank you so much for calling there. I appreciate that. You can finish up. I just wanted to acknowledge this. You were like, nobody was there. I was like, no, sister, you were there. And you were called, and you raised your hand. So you somebody special. Yeah.
So it's a first for everything, and I know that this would not be the last. And like you said, I was so grateful that I was able to see the sunrise, you know, and just enjoy nature and just take in all of God's glory, you know. So thank you for this opportunity to bring women together.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you walked with Vanessa and I today, this morning, and with so many other women. And I'm so glad you're holding space there in Texas. Texas needs you and needs all of the GirlTREKers. So on Facebook, we have different city pages, and put on there when you're going to come back, because there are people listening who want to join you, who want to be in connection with you, sister. So go ahead and go on, if you go on Facebook and go to whatever your city is for all the listeners, and you put in where you're going to walk, you can connect with other walkers. And where 2 or 3 are gathered, that's where power is, that's where love is, that's where God is. So I'm looking forward to that for you. Thank you so much for raising your hand.
Thank you, sis. All right, Ty, let's take one more caller. I like to call them walkers, but
I like walkers too.
yeah.
Let's do it.
One more walker.
We're taking one more walker. One more walker right now. We're taking one more walker. Somebody gonna be like, I'm in my living room.
That's why
right now.
That's why I be hesitant. I'm like, this ain't a call out. It really ain't a call out. So that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Good morning. Do we have anyone on?
Sister, are you there?
Let's see. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I just really like what you guys are doing. My name is Hope, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, Hope.
I enjoyed your affirmations this morning. You know, we don't have, where I'm walking, there's not a lot of green. There's not a lot of trees. There's a lot of brown. It is the desert, but I think all of your discussion about environmental justice resonates with me. I'm initially from New York City. I'm from Harlem, and I can remember as a little girl, my parents and my whole building and community got together to protest a waste plant that was being built near the house. And you know, why not put it somewhere else? Why put it in the middle of Harlem? But you know, those things turned around, and so I think communities, we didn't win that battle, but we made them. That place has evolved to something very positive now because of how the community viewed it, how the community demanded that they control the smell and the stench, which I'm sure kicked off a lot of asthma in our youth back then. So anyway, I'm one of your older trekkers, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, everything. In Phoenix, we have a lot of heat issues, and there's not a lot of trees. They are trying to plant some to help with the asphalt jungle situation. When it gets to be 110 and 115, it's really, really bad. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
That.
Yeah, and thank you for being like a mentor to us. And you said you're an older trekker. Like, we have nothing but reverence for our elders, and we have nothing. And we were just on the line this week with all of our college organizers. And so I'm grateful that we're generational here. I'm grateful that you can tell us about what your parents in the community of Harlem were doing a generation ago when you were a child,
in the 60s.
taught you how to be in the 60s. Yeah, which taught you how to be an organizer, which is why you're unafraid to even raise your hand on this call, along with the other 20 women with their hands raised here. I'm telling you, y'all, a fire is being set here under our feet as we walk, and we are learning from people who were organizing in the 60s, and we are learning how to organize on campuses now, and that is the kind of wisdom share that we really do need. I was reading, Vanessa, about the EPA, and in the EPA there's a Department for Environmental Justice, and that department was started exactly how the sister is saying. A group of people in North Carolina were fighting to get a company not to put their industry or their factory in their community, and it got so much attention. I think it was Ronald Reagan's attention, everybody, and so they gave them a department in the EPA, the Department of Environmental Justice, and it was a professor out of Texas that was writing about it, or maybe he was there doing it, and now he's a professor in Texas. I don't remember, but I'm telling you, community organizing works, y'all. And so get involved in your local community. Get involved. Wear your GirlTREK shirt. Say you got 1 million Black women standing behind you as you're on the microphone. Just don't say nothing wild and nothing crazy and nothing, and don't mention no political candidates' names. But just know that we are standing behind you around the issues of health justice. The issues of health justice. You are learning, and anything you learn here, you are welcome to share, and you are welcome to raise your voice, and you are welcome to represent our movement. So, thank you, sisters, for calling in. Should we end with Wangari? You want to take one more? Vanessa, how's the spirit moving? I mean, look, now we got to take one more because you said it. Come on, let's take one more. Let's take one more. Let's take one more. I could do this all morning, all afternoon, y'all. I could do some 10-mile walk type. Like, God is blessed that this gets to be my vocation, and I'm just grateful. So look, y'all can drop off and you got somewhere to go, but let's go ahead and just take one last woman. I'm at a park right now. It's so nice. It's really beautiful. I was hoping just once you would say no. I was like, just once, but that's gonna be like,
I ain't. Sorry, no. What's one last one? Okay, come on. Be short, caller. You gotta close us out. Okay. Good morning.
She dropped off. Somebody's coming now, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tyree.
I cannot believe that I am speaking to you. My name is Dee, and I'm calling from a little place called Odenton, Maryland. I'm going to be really short. I'm really excited because I have invited myself, my daughters, and a group of my colleagues. We are all federal EMSs for FEMA. And we are busy and we walk all the time. So the fact that we are here, we stand up for social justice, and we are just so happy to be a part of GirlTREK. I have invited a lot of my powerful sisters to participate for the healing, because when we heal each other, when we're out there in the field trying to serve with these disasters, we are able to reach out and touch, I would say, another 1 million women. And it's so powerful today that you're talking about the environment, which we are always in. We never know where we're going to be. We never know how long. We don't know where we're going to sleep, where we're going to eat. And we never know the conditions of the space that we're going to be in when we're out. So I just want to thank you. I joined GirlTREK, not by coincidence, back during COVID. And I was in the process doing some of the disasters, and I processed so many death certificates. It wasn't by coincidence, but it was by God, because I was literally walking, and I was talking to the trees, but that was my safe space. I had to get myself away so that I could breathe. So I just thank you so much. I am just so happy. I'm ecstatic. I had my Bible open, and I said, I know I'm not going to get a chance to say anything, but what I want to say is thank you for every affirmation. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for giving me the strength, because now with all my sisters, I'm a trainer. I am able to check in on them and say, sis, how you doing? Sis, you okay? Bro, you good? Because we have this one, it's a lot of us, but we're very busy, and a lot of times we work 30 days, 12 hours a day. And as you know, with the climate change, already this year, there's been 100 disasters. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. And we have the power.
Wait, don't hang up. Thank you for your service.
Don't hang up.
If you don't know that God is moving in this movement, just know that the last caller said I'm from FEMA. And I just want to let you know that that's what it looks like to say that we make it space, because you are the solution makers and the leaders. And I am so grateful for you, so grateful. And I'm so grateful that during COVID and when you were processing those death certificates that we could hold space for you. And I am so grateful for the other women who you invited into this space. And I do imagine the ripple effect when a million teach a million, and all the ways in which we don't even know how this movement is reaching and touching people. So I just want to say thank you. It's really thank you for what you are doing. And thank you to the women who are holding this movement down in every single way, in every vocation, in every single city, rural, urban, in all the ways you are. Thank you, sister.
Oh, thank you. I just thank you, because you don't know it, but FEMA, we are in Puerto Rico too. I just came back from Puerto Rico, and we walk, and oh man, I'm telling you, after the walk, it's going to be another walk, because we're literally going to be jumping up. Because I said, I know I'm not going to get through, but I tell them all the time, I said, this is something that is powerful. You have to do this for yourself. Join GirlTREK. I give them the information. I send the emails. I'll say this real quick. My daughter couldn't walk. One of my daughters was in a wheelchair last year. She has autoimmune disease. She's listening right now too, but I will say this to say this.
Hey,
she
baby
is
girl.
walking now. She is walking. I start off
Yes,
let's start smart. Let's start small. But guess what? She's walking. She's out the wheelchair.
Yes, God. Bless.
Oh,
Bless your daughter. Hi, daughter. Hi, family. Hi, friends. Hi, FEMA. Dee, you are a frontline hero. And I want you to know that. I want you to carry that strong, that you are on the front lines of this environmental movement, that you are on the front lines of environmental injustice, of climate change, and that when those storms come, when the heat flashes come, when the earth shakes, you are right there on the front lines with your sister. And I'm telling you, Black women are so powerful, and I feel so grateful that you are walking with us and that you are organizing. And Dee, please reach out to us, info@girltrek.org, because I'd like to follow up and just help tell your story, elevate it so that we can get more frontline soldiers, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a politician, I remember there's a sister down in Atlanta who was leading the COVID response for the city of Atlanta, and every morning getting up listening to Black History Boot Camp with us in solidarity so she could get the strength to go and save those lives. I'm telling you, doctors, nurses, mothers, every single person who is on the front lines of every system failure in America, every environmental cataclysmic disaster, we put our bodies out there and we have to care for ourselves. And so make your walk with GirlTREK slow. Make it ease your mind. Make it tickle your fancy. It doesn't have to be hard and powerful. We just have to be together because we go far together. So I'm just so grateful that you called in. I'm so grateful, Vanessa, that you said yes. I'm so grateful to God for ordering our steps today, y'all. Remember when you go into the polls to think about the issues. Think about the issues. Think about Dee and all of her sisters in FEMA. Think about the issues we talked about. Think about the fact that we need trails and parks, just like Habibah has in her backyard, so we can connect with nature and get all of that bounce of benefit to our health. Think about those issues around the built environment and walkability. Think about the issues in the women who have organized before us from Harlem all the way to Kenya. And as we close out today's call, we're going to hear from the late great PhD Nobel laureate, Wangari Maathai, whose daughter is a GirlTREKer and who walks with us. So rest in peace, Wangari Maathai. And we welcome all the sisters in the diaspora to this climate justice movement called GirlTREK.
See y'all next Saturday, same time, same place.